Some landscapes inspire at first sight. Others unfold slowly, revealing their scale one quiet moment at a time. And then there are places shaped by cliffs, mountains, and wide northern coastlines, places built on both stability and silence. Norway stands among these landscapes. A country where long fjords cut deep into the land, where villages rest at the base of high ridges, and where mountains form natural gateways between valleys and sea. Nothing here is rushed. Nothing here demands attention. The land simply exists in a way that feels steady, open, and enduring. This is the beginning of a journey through a country shaped by the forces of nature and by the people who have lived alongside those forces for centuries. A journey across coastlines, mountains, historic harbors, and quiet roads that continue to define Norway's identity. The path opens now. Norway stretches along the northern edge of Europe, its coastline one of the longest and most detailed in the world. Fjords reach inland for great distances, borders shaped by ancient glaciers that carve deep channels between tall mountain walls. Cities and towns sit along these waterways, built close to the sea for fishing, travel, and trade. Historic architecture reflects this connection. Wooden houses, harbors, and waterfronts that have served as gathering places for generations. Mountains rise close to the coast, creating landscapes where steep ridges stand only a short distance from open water. These natural formations have guided travel routes, influenced local culture, and shaped the identity of Norway for thousands of years. Roads curve along cliffs and valleys. Bridges connect islands, and ferries move between coastal communities. Daily life continues around these features, creating a balance between tradition and the modern world. This is a land defined by geology, history, and resilience, a combination that gives Norway its unmistakable character, its fjords, its mountains, its fishing villages, its hiking routes, and its scenic drives all come together to form a place that feels both grounded and expansive. If this calm beginning feels meaningful, a gentle subscribe helps support the journey and keeps these films alive. Now the story begins. Lofoten Islands. Wide shores, high cliffs, quiet villages. The journey reaches the Lofoten Islands, a long chain of peaks rising directly from the sea. The landscape feels distinct. Open water on one side, steep mountain faces on the other, and narrow stretches of land connecting villages that have depended on the ocean for centuries. Fishing has shaped this region for more than 1,000 years. Wooden racks line the coastline, used for drying the seasonal catch. Harbors hold small boats, their arrangement reflecting the practical design of communities, built in close relationship with the sea. Roads curve tightly around the shoreline, crossing bridges that link one island to the next. The drive offers continuous views of open water, towering cliffs, and villages arranged neatly along sheltered inlets. The mountains here rise sharply, their surfaces creating natural barriers that divide the land into long valleys and narrow passes. Trails lead upward toward open plateaus where hikers follow well-marked routes, known for steady inclines and expansive viewpoints, Lofoten carries a balance of calm and structure, a landscape shaped by nature, maintained by tradition, and visited for the clarity it brings. Geirangerfjord, deep valleys and high walls of stone. Moving inland, the journey enters Geirangerfjord, one of Norway's most well-known fjords and recognized internationally for its natural formation. The fjord stretches between very tall valley walls that rise almost vertically from the water. Their surfaces show layers formed over thousands of years as glaciers carved this channel through solid rock. Geirangerfjord is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, noted for its geological significance and the way human settlement adapted to such steep surroundings. Small farms once stood along narrow ledges, built where the land allowed limited cultivation. Some remain preserved today, accessible by marked hiking paths or small boat routes along the fjord. Ferries move through the calm water, traveling from one end of the fjord to the other. Each turn reveals a new section of valley wall, some smooth, others marked by long vertical fractures that reveal the region's geological history. Higher viewpoints overlook the entire fjord, showing the full shape of its winding route and the mountain ridges that rise on both sides. Visitors often travel to these points to observe the fjord's scale and the way the valley maintains its depth far inland. Geirangerfjord is one of the clearest examples of Norway's defining natural formations, a meeting of water, rock, and time presented in precise detail. Preikestolen, Pulpit Rock. A natural platform above the fjords farther south lies Preikestolen, a cliff formation standing high above a long fjord. Its surface is a large flat plateau positioned near the edge of a vertical drop. The geometric shape is the result of natural fractures in the stone that occurred thousands of years ago. Reaching the top requires a well-known hiking trail measuring several kilometers. The route includes steady climbs, stone steps built for stability, and resting areas overlooking open valleys. Hikers travel this path throughout the year, drawn by the structure of the trail and the clear destination at its end. From the plateau, the fjord below extends in both directions, surrounded by broad mountains that form a natural corridor through the landscape. The view highlights the region's scale in a direct and measurable way: height, distance, depth, all visible at once. Preikestolen has become one of Norway's most visited outdoor landmarks. Its appearance, a clean, wide block of stone placed above a long stretch of water, makes it one of the country's most recognizable formations. The moment here is not shaped by drama, but by clarity. A simple platform, a long fjord, and the quiet presence of mountains stretching far into the distance. A view that encourages pause, then a slow continuation of the journey onward. Bergen, harbors, hills, and the gateway to the fjords. Bergen stands along Norway's western coast, a city built between long hills and a wide harbor that has served as a central trading point for centuries. The historic waterfront, with its wooden buildings arranged neatly along the harbor edge, reflects traditional architectural design that has remained an important symbol of the city's past. Fishing vessels, ferries, and coastal ships move steadily through the harbor each day. The city maintains its connection to the sea not only in transportation, but also in cultural history, markets, and long-standing maritime routes. that link Bergen to smaller communities along the coast. A short distance from the center, paths and rail routes climb into the surrounding hills. From these higher points, visitors observe the layout of the city, the coastline curving outward and the mountains rising behind it. Bergen serves as an entrance to many nearby fjords, with boats departing regularly toward inland waterways and valley routes that define western Norway. The city carries both modern life and preserved tradition, a balance that forms one of Norway's most recognizable cultural regions. The journey enters Sognefjord, the longest fjord in Norway and one of the deepest in the world. The fjord stretches far between mountain walls, forming long corridors of calm water surrounded by high ridges and natural terraces. Villages sit at the base of these valleys, built where flat land allows agriculture, farming, and seasonal activities that have continued for generations. Boat routes run through the fjord, carrying travelers across its entire length. Some sections narrow into steep passages, while others widen into broad basins that reveal the scale of the region. The geological formation of Sognefjord is a clear result of glacial shaping, a process that formed a deep channel by carving through layers of bedrock over long periods of time. Hiking trails rise into the surrounding mountains, offering clear views of the fjord as it winds far into the distance. Sognefjord represents Norway's natural identity in its purest structural form: long waterway, tall valley walls, and settlements adapted to the land. The Atlantic Ocean Road, a route across the sea farther west. A famous stretch of roadway connects small islands along the outer coast. The Atlantic Ocean Road consists of bridges, curving causeways, and engineered sections designed to withstand the coastal environment. This route is known internationally for its dramatic placement over open water, where land, sea, and engineering combine to form one of the most recognizable roads in Norway. Visitors travel the road to experience the structure itself: sharp turns, rising bridges, and sweeping views of the surrounding coastline. The design serves both local communities and travelers, providing a practical route through an area shaped by water on all sides. It stands as one of Norway's most photographed travel locations. Tromsø region, northern landscapes in daylight. In the far north, Tromsø and the surrounding islands offer a different kind of landscape: open coastlines, broad mountain slopes, and waterways framed by long ridges. The city is one of the largest in northern Norway and serves as a hub for research, maritime activity, and travel between Arctic communities. Daytime exploration reveals the scale of the surrounding region: coastal mountains, wide channels of water, and island chains connected by bridges and tunnels. Hiking trails lead to viewpoints overlooking the city and the large mountain ranges that rise behind it. The Tromsø region represents the northern character of Norway: northern lights, motion above the Arctic regions. In the far north of Norway, above wide tundra and open coastline, a natural phenomenon appears in the upper atmosphere. When charged particles from the sun interact with Earth's magnetic field, this event is known as the Northern Lights. The motion begins quietly, forming slow arcs that stretch across the sky. Patterns shift gradually, expanding and contracting as energy moves through the upper layers of the atmosphere. This phenomenon is most commonly observed in regions located within the Arctic Circle, where Norway's geography places it directly beneath one of the strongest zones of activity. For centuries, these lights were interpreted as signs, stories, or messages beyond human understanding. Today, they are studied scientifically, yet still remain one of the most recognizable natural events on the planet. Observers travel to northern Norway to witness this movement firsthand, not for spectacle, but for the quiet experience of watching the sky change without sound or urgency. The northern lights represent a meeting point between space and earth, a reminder that Norway's landscape extends not only across land and water, but upward into the atmosphere itself. Svalbard, remote Arctic territory far beyond the mainland, deep within the Arctic Ocean, lies the archipelago of Svalbard. This remote region belongs to Norway and stands as one of the northernmost permanently inhabited places in the world. Mountains rise directly from the sea, their surfaces shaped by ice and long winters. Glaciers extend across valleys, moving slowly toward the coast over long periods of time. Human settlement here is limited and carefully managed. Communities exist primarily for research, education, and Arctic observation. Daily life follows strict environmental rules designed to protect the surrounding wilderness. Wildlife plays a central role in Svalbard's identity. Reindeer, seabirds, and Arctic foxes move across open terrain, while polar bears remain the region's most closely monitored species. Svalbard offers a view of Norway at its most remote and restrained, a place where human presence is minimal and natural systems remain dominant. The region serves as an important location for studying climate patterns, glacial movement, and Arctic ecosystems. Svalbard adds a final dimension to Norway's geographic story, a northern boundary where land, ice, and sea exist in careful balance. The Seven Sisters, waterfalls of Geirangerfjord region. Along the steep walls of Geirangerfjord, a series of waterfalls descend from high elevations, forming what is known as the Seven Sisters. Each waterfall follows its own path downward, creating a pattern of parallel streams that travel from mountain plateaus to the fjord below. These falls are fed by snowmelt from higher ground, their flow varying throughout the year, depending on seasonal conditions. The Seven Sisters have long been a defining visual feature of the region, frequently viewed from boats traveling the fjord or from elevated roads that follow the valley's edge. Across the water stands another waterfall, commonly referred to as the Sutor, a local legend connecting the two formations through traditional storytelling. Beyond the legend, the waterfalls illustrate a key aspect of Norway's landscape, the way water moves through vertical terrain, shaping rock faces over long periods of time. These falls reinforce the relationship between mountain and fjord, a connection repeated throughout the country in countless valleys and waterways. Remote, spacious, and shaped by long distances. If this journey feels peaceful so far, a simple subscribe helps support the next chapters. As the journey moves across the country, a consistent pattern emerges, a landscape built from clarity and structure. Norway does not rely on dramatic weather or shifting light to define its identity. Its mountains, fjords, and coastlines speak through form alone. Long ridges create natural boundaries between inland valleys. Waterways stretch for great distances, forming routes that have guided movement for thousands of years. Islands stand close to the shore, their shapes marking the rhythm of the coastline. Roads, ferries, and tunnels connect these regions with precision. Travel follows predictable lines, across bridges, around fjords, through open mountain corridors. Each route offers a straightforward view of the land structure: mountain faces, steady inclines, and long stretches of water that remain undisturbed in daytime calm. Villages appear along the coast, their layouts shaped by practical needs: harbors for fishing, flat ground for farming, paths leading toward higher terrain. Even in modern life, these communities maintain a clear connection to the land around them. Norway's interior contains broad plateaus where reindeer migrate and highlands where hikers follow marked trails that cut through open space without obstruction. The terrain encourages movement at a steady, measured pace. To the west, the coast holds thousands of islands, some small enough to cross on foot, others large enough to contain entire towns. Boats travel between them as naturally as cars travel inland, continuing a pattern of navigation that has existed since early settlement. Taken together, these regions create a country defined not only by scenery, but by endurance and design. A land shaped by ancient forces, carried forward through tradition, and organized with precision for both daily life and exploration. This final chapter reflects the steady nature of Norway itself, structured, grounded, and unmistakably its own. Across every distance traveled, a single quality remains constant. Norway holds its landscape with a quiet confidence. No single viewpoint defines it. No single region explains it. Its beauty comes from the way mountains, water, valleys, and coastlines fit together like pieces of a long, steady pattern. Each scene holds space. Each location offers clarity. Each region adds another layer to the understanding of what this northern country represents. A land shaped over long ages, a land lived in with purpose, a land visited for its peaceful presence and its unmistakable structure. The journey settles now, carrying the last views of mountains, fjords, towns, and open roads into a quiet memory that lingers long after the final frame. For more journeys told in this quiet way, a simple subscribe helps support future films and keeps these stories moving forward. Thank you for being part of this path. The next world waits in the next video.